everyone, and welcome to another segment of AstrologyAnswers.com's weekly horoscope. My name is Terence Scardino. Well, Mars is retrograde, and the frustrating, delaying energy only intensifies when communication Mercury turns retrograde Thursday, April the 28th until May the 22nd. In my last video, I was talking about Mars turning retrograde April the 17th through June the 29th. This occurs once every 2 years. And all the significations of Mars will be more delayed or complicated. Therefore, it's not a good time to start a new work project, a new job. Now, there's going to be plenty of people around the world that's going to start jobs, open up businesses. But when Mars enters retrograde, there's more of a tendency for things to be more complicated, more challenging, or more sluggish. Remember, Mars can have a lot to do with mechanical devices, appliances, automobiles. So there's more of a tendency during the Mars retrograde period for them to break down. So even though Mars is already retrograde, you may want to take your car in to be serviced or to, or have your computer or what have you, maintenance. And certainly when you're buying appliances or automobiles, as I've been saying, during the Mars in retrograde, make sure you have a really good warranty. Mars is the planet of war. So you never want to go to war against anybody during Mars in retrograde because it's going to turn against you. So you don't want to file a lawsuit. And hopefully you don't need surgery because with Mars in retrograde, it may need to be repeated. The healing may take longer. So when it comes to elective surgery, by all means, just to be safe, put it off until after June the 29th. Now, Mercury goes retrograde about 3 times a year for about 3 weeks. Mercury significations are communications, expectations. This is a time, you've heard the mantra, misinformation, misunderstandings, checks getting lost in the mail. They're always saying, do not sign contracts because Mercury has a lot to do with your agreements and expectations. And when it's retrograde, again, it's not always the kiss of death, but there tends to be more of a probability where you don't have all the information. So you would have made a better decision if you would have waited. But I have found that it is the several days, 2 or 3 days, when Mercury is slowing down, turning retrograde on this Thursday, the 28th, or next month, for a couple of days around May the 22nd, when Mars is now slowing down and turning around and going forwards. That is the time when you see more of the complications, the disappointments in your expectations, when you're with agreements and communications with others, there's more of a tendency for a lot of a breakdown. But the Mercury is in sensible, grounded Taurus. And it's going to remain in Taurus the whole time it's retrograde. So Mercury in Taurus, when it's retrograde, it's going to be a lot more sensible, more common sense, more steady. Those are all the attributes of Taurus. And so there's less of a problem of making some, major kinds of snafus and misunderstandings, because Mercury in Taurus doesn't tend to be impulsive, erratic, and jump the gun. Now, the Mercury turns retrograde on Thursday, and on Friday, the 29th, Venus the planet of relationships, of harmony, of creativity. Venus is leaving more independent, impulsive, fiery Aries and moving into Taurus for several weeks, once a year. Venus rules the sign Taurus and Libra. So every year when Venus transits through Taurus, we say it's transiting through its own sign, it gives better results. And so this is good also for relationships. Now with Mercury in retrograde, you may have to, there might be some misunderstandings, but that Venus in Taurus is seeking more harmony, more compromise. So again, this is a more stabilizing factor. Come Sunday, the only major planetary event outside of the retrogrades is the Sun transiting through Taurus is going to be very favorable with Neptune. Neptune inspires. Neptune is intuitive and empathetic. So that Sun-Neptune is a beautiful day, and particularly on Sunday, for charity, for kindness, to inspire others or to be inspired. So before I wrap up, I want to remind you that I'm available to answer questions at astrologyanswers.com. If you watch the video through the YouTube link, you can see a direct link to request me for questions in the description page underneath the YouTube video. And remember, the time of birth is so important if you have it. And put the time of birth and the birth information again in your message to me to make sure that it's accurate. So I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you next week with my next segment. Until then, have a great week.